snap. There's the kick. It's gone. Oh my gosh. The kick is gone.
Boston Sports Nerd present Joe's Fantasy Field Goal.
What's up, you fantasy football freaks? I'm back with your Week 8 fantasy football advice. We had some pretty crappy games, some huge performances, some good games, the offenses really. There's some low scoring games. There's some, I think 7 teams had no offensive touchdowns, some crazy stat this week. So, but we did have some crazy performances. Zeke, and Amari Cooper had a big Thursday night game. Alex Smith had a good game. Derek Carr, who after I talked a bunch of shit on him on the B.S.N podcast. We're going to get into, obviously, you guys know the deal. We got quarterback and defensive streamers. We got waiver wire wonders. We're going to run through the matchups for the week. So, quick reminder, this is week 1 of 2 that will be referred to as the Bye-Apocalypse. There are 6 teams on bye week this week, and there are 6 teams on bye week next week. After that, you have 4 teams on bye week 10 and 4 teams on bye week 11, and then bye weeks are done. So, on bye this week, Arizona, Green Bay, Jacksonville, the Rams, the Giants, and the Titans are all on bye this week. So, you're going to probably have to scramble to fill some spots on your roster. Your opponents are probably going to have to scramble to fill some spots on their roster. And also, because of the Bye-Apocalypse, we have only 3 quarterback streamers this week that I thought were available, A, and B, have good matchups where I would feel confident starting them. We have about 5 defenses and 7-ish waiver wire wonder guys. So we're going to get right into it with the quarterback streamers.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
Alright, first on the list for quarterback streamers is Case Keenum of the Minnesota Vikings. This has everything to do with the fact that they're playing the Cleveland Browns this week. So, take with that what you will. We've seen Case Keenum show out a couple weeks before in this season. So he's got all of the ability to. The dude is pretty much a career backup quarterback, but he has a really good matchup with Cleveland, and Minnesota has the weapons to get it done. They're also good on defense, which means I think they'll get the ball a little bit more. The offense should have the ball for most of the game. Cleveland should be off the field quite often. So, Case Keenum versus Cleveland, just a good matchup, and you could use that during the Bye-Apocalypse here. Next on the list, we have Tyrod Taylor at home against a good matchup with the Raiders. The Raiders' defense isn't really all that special. Tyrod Taylor gives you that running quarterback baseline. Most leagues, not all, but most have the thing. It's kind of like a mod or like a cheat for running quarterbacks where, it's 25 points, or it's 1 point for every 25 passing yards for a quarterback, but it's 1 point for every 10 rushing yards. So if you have a running quarterback, they run for 50 yards on the ground. It's like they threw for 125. but 5 points is 5 points. So you have that running baseline with Tyrod Taylor. The Raiders have a good defensive line, which means he might have to run, just, forced out of the pocket kind of stuff. And their secondary is not that great. So it seems kind of like a little perfect storm, and he's at home. So it's kind of like a little perfect storm there, why I think Tyrod will have a pretty good game and will be a very, very good streaming option. I'd probably put him number 1 on this list. Followed by number 2 on this list would be Josh McCown, who is my last quarterback streaming option. He is playing Atlanta, who has been pretty awful on defense. This is definitely not the Atlanta defense we saw late in the year last year. More like the Atlanta defense we saw early in the year last year. And Josh McCown has really been getting it done. I mean, he's been a streamable option, I think, the last 3 weeks. I know he beat up on the Pats. He just did pretty good. I think he finished as like a top 5 quarterback last week, or top 6 quarterback this past week against Miami. He did have a costly turnover. It cost the Jets the game. But for fantasy purposes, I think Josh McCown is a great stream. My second favorite on this list. Case Keenum is my third. And obviously Tyrod Taylor is my favorite streamer. That's it for the quarterback streams. For the defensive streams, we have the Eagles versus San Francisco. San Francisco starting a rookie quarterback. The Eagles are at home. The Eagles might be picked up in your league already. If they aren't, scoop them up. Some of these teams might be picked up in your league already. Just go out there and look for whichever one you can pick up. But the Eagles versus San Fran. I like the Eagles matchup. Their defense has been pretty good. It hasn't been fucking amazing. They are kind of ball hawking and getting some turnovers that help lead to some better fantasy defensive games than they should have, just going by points and yards allowed. But the Eagles defense is worth a start against a struggling San Francisco offense with a rookie quarterback. Next we have Cincy versus the Colts. Obviously Andrew Luck isn't back yet, so it's still Jacoby Brissett, who I do like as a quarterback, but Cincy is like number 2 against the pass, and the Colts aren't really that great at running the ball. So I like Cincy's defense in this game. Third is Minnesota at Cleveland. Obviously, this has everything to do with the fact that they're playing the Cleveland Browns, who don't even know who their quarterback is week to week. They started off with Deshaun Kaiser and then didn't go to Kevin Hogan. They went to Cody Kessler. They've all thrown picks, multiple picks in a game. You can't ever go wrong if you start a team that's playing Cleveland. And Minnesota's defense is already good to start. So, Minnesota at Cleveland, I mean, they might not be available. If they are available, you're going to have to really rush to that waiver wire and get them, because they will go. They will be picked up. Next, we have Baltimore versus Miami. Jay Cutler's out. Matt Moore is in. I like Matt Moore more than Jay Cutler in Miami, but they were both prone to throwing interceptions. Matt Moore has thrown interceptions many times before in limited roles. I think he'll throw more, especially against a Baltimore defense that's been stingy-ish this year. And the only thing I worry about with Baltimore is that their offense is so bad, and the defense has to stay on the field so much that they eventually get tired and worn down. But I like Baltimore versus Miami this week. And last on this list, and I can't believe I'm even suggesting that you do this because of how awful they've been, but they're coming off a really good defensive game. I think most of you know who I'm talking about, and that is your New England Patriots. They are at home against the almighty turnover god that is Phillip Rivers. So I think they just held the Falcons to 7 points. Granted, some of you might say that they should have given up probably at least, like 15 or 16 points. Field goals and fucking jet sweep on the goal line. Like, there was an awful play call by Atlanta. But they held them to 7 points. And San Diego, they have an okay offense, pretty well balanced, just like Atlanta's, but their quarterback is much more prone to mistakes, and their offensive line, I would say, isn't as good. And I think New England should be able to move the ball on the San Diego defense. I like New England versus San Diego. I like the New England defense this week. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's probably the first time I've ever recommended that you play New England's defense this year. But I think they'll get it done this week. And that's it for streamers. That's it for quarterback streamers. That's it for defensive streamers. We're going to get into the waiver wire wonders.
And I wonder if you know the wonder of it all.
So, waiver wire wonders. First on the list, Kenny Stills. Like I just said, Matt Moore is in at quarterback. Jay Cutler is hurt. He is out for a little bit. Matt Moore likes to throw the ball to Kenny Stills. There were plays. You can go back and look at the time that Ryan Tannehill missed last year and look at what Matt Moore and Kenny Stills were doing. And then you can go and look at this game when Jay Cutler went out, what Matt Moore and Kenny Stills are doing. Kenny Stills is a viable target, especially on this shitty Bipocalypse week. He's worth a pickup. Maybe you don't play him. Maybe he's a riskier flex option, but I like Kenny Stills as a pickup, maybe even a long-term solution if they switch to Matt Moore full-time, and as long as Jay Cutler is out, Kenny Stills will get some target love in Miami with Matt Moore at quarterback. Next on the list is a flyer for a tight end, and that is O.J. Howard. We finally saw he had a big game a couple weeks ago, but it was on like 2 targets for a lot of yards and a touchdown. And I mean that's obviously a good game, but the 2 targets is what worried me. But this past week he just had a 6 target game with a lot of yards and a touchdown. And I like that 6 number a lot more. So I'm okay picking up O.J. Howard. If you need a tight end stream this week, there are probably better options available to play, but if you're in desperate need of a tight end, I wouldn't really roster 2 on my roster, but if you need one for this week, let's say your starting tight end is on bye, O.J. Howard is a perfectly fine pickup. Next on the list is Ted Ginn. I'm buying into Ted Ginn because I don't believe in Willie Snead. He's inactive. And Ted Ginn has been getting targeted, and he's been catching those targets and converting for scores. I like Ted Ginn a lot, especially if Willie Snead is not involved in this offense. Ted Ginn is definitely... Drew Brees is a good enough quarterback to have 3 roster-worthy receivers, and Willie Snead's not playing, which means Ted Ginn is roster-worthy because he's the number 2. Case in point. Next on the list is Dion Lewis. I picked up Dion Lewis last week. You should have too. He had a good game again. Yes, they have a lot of running back pieces in New England, but Dion Lewis is getting it done. He's running hard, he's elusive, and he's a home run threat, I think, every time he touches the ball. He's 100% worth rostering. Rex Burkhead is another guy you should keep your eye on. They were using him in that Atlanta game. He was running hard. He was running good for a whole series. And then they kind of stopped. They leaned away from Rex Burkhead and went back to Dion Lewis. But Dion Lewis, I think, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm almost positive that he out-touched everyone else in that Patriots backfield. He seems to be number 1 on the depth chart out of all those backs. So I really like Dion Lewis, and he is worth a pickup. Next on the list, Matt Forte is out there. He's like 44% owned in ESPN leagues, which is ridiculous. He is a starting running back. He's a starting running back in the NFL, even if it's part of a timeshare. He's getting, 10-ish carries, 10-ish touches a game. He's worth rostering. He's a good player. He's old, but he's healthy right now, and he's playing well. And there's no reason why he is only 44% owned. So go pick up Matt Forte. And last on my list is kind of like a duo here. Just pick whichever one you like more, because you'll get pretty similar output from both of them. And that is DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard of Oakland. Marshawn Lynch is suspended for 1 game, which means both of these guys will take over. They'll split the starting running back opportunity in Oakland. So if this bipocalypse hits you hard at running back, you need a spot start. Either DeAndre Washington or Jalen Richard. Pick one of them up. They'll both be used. They're both going to get touches. Really flip a coin to see, which one you want, or pick whichever one you like more. But they're both worthy of a pickup if you need help at running back during this awful, awful bipocalypse. And let's move on. I don't have to yawn all day. It's amazing. I never have to yawn all day. The moment I put this fucking mic on, all of a sudden I can never stop yawning. The moment I sit down in this chair, just instantly, every time, I get the yawns. You guys probably fucking hate it. You probably just like, oh, there he goes yawning again. This dude, get some sleep, you fucking bum. I'm sorry. Every time, it's not even that late. It's like 8 o'clock when I'm recording this. Wow, so I was listening to that. I was in the middle of an epic rant about yawning, and my computer decided to restart. And luckily, I was able to recover this podcast that I had started recording. But I'm not going to continue that rant about yawning, and I am going to get into start sit right now.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance. I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over them mountains? Yeah, if Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt.
Okay, so let's take it game by game here. We have the Dolphins at the Ravens Thursday night. I am playing Jarvis Landry. I'm playing Jay Ajayi. And Devontae Parker, if he's healthy. I don't know. I don't know if I want to play Devontae Parker because I don't know the rapport with Matt Moore. I'm definitely playing Jarvis Landry, though. And I'm definitely playing Jay Ajayi. For the Ravens, who the fuck do you play on the Ravens offense? They've been awful. Buck Allen. You play Buck Allen. And that's it. That's the only person worth playing on the Ravens until you see something from the Ravens. So, Buck Allen. Next, for Sunday, 9:30 in the morning. Oh, this has got to be a London game. We have the Vikings at the Browns, but not at the Browns. They are in London. I'm playing I'm playing all my Vikings. Every Viking you have. I'm not even going to name them all. If you own a Viking that you thought was worth rostering, he's worth playing against the Browns. Especially during the bipocalypse. For the Browns, Duke Johnson. That's it. Like, again, what do you do with the offense for the Browns? There's no receivers worth playing. You don't know who the quarterback is. There's no tight end worth playing. Isaiah Crowell's been a fucking shit show, and the Vikings have a good run defense. You play Duke Johnson. Next on the list, 1 p.m., we have the Chargers in New England versus the Pats. For the Chargers, listen, it's still, even though I said play the Pats defense, it's still the Pats defense of 2017. So, you're going to play your Chargers. You're going to play Keenan Allen. You're going to play Melvin Gordon. You can play Phillip Rivers. You could play Hunter Henry at tight end is a good play. You can play Tyrell Williams. That's probably where I'd stop. I don't trust Travis Benjamin, but by Apocalypse he might be flex worthy. Patriots, you're playing all of your Pats. I'm playing Dion Lewis. Obviously, you play Tom Brady. Obviously, you play Rob Gronkowski. I would play Danny Amendola. I would play Chris Hogan. I would play Brandon Cooks. And then I'd be iffy on the other running backs. But I would definitely play Dion Lewis at running back and probably James White. And from there, that's up to you. If some of those guys could be flex worthy, especially with all of the bye weeks. Next, we have the Bears at the Saints. I like a lot of both offenses in this game. By both offenses, I mean the Bears running backs and all of the Saints. The Bears are just like a straight up running team at this point. They don't really have receivers to even talk about anyway. So I would play Jordan Howard. And what the fuck is going on with Tariq Cohen? Like, what is going on with Tariq? He doesn't get the ball anymore. I'd probably still flex him. Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, that's all I'm playing for the Bears. Saints, I'm playing all of them. Melvin Ingram, Alvin Kamara, obviously Drew Brees, obviously Michael Thomas. I would flex Ted Ginn. Colby Fleener could be a sneaky tight end play. That's probably it for the Saints. We have the Panthers at the Buccaneers. You play Christian McCaffrey. You play... I might sneaky start Ed Dixon if you have him. I wouldn't mind doing that. If you need help at tight end, you need a tight end to play. I would play whatever receivers are healthy for the Panthers. Funchess and Benjamin. Is Benjamin hurt? I always feel like he's hurt, even if he's not hurt. I just feel like he is. Whatever healthy wide receivers you have for the Panthers, really of those two, Funchess or Benjamin, they're worth playing. For the Bucks, Carolina's defense is okay. I feel like they've been blown out a couple times. I would play... The Bucks just had a really good game. I think Cameron Brate is worth playing. Obviously Mike Evans. Obviously Doug Martin. I would probably flex Deshaun Jackson. And that might be it. Colts, Bengals. I don't really like a ton of Colts, to be honest with you. The Bengals' pass defense is ranked pretty high. Obviously, I would probably play T.Y. Hilton. He's just worth the risk. Is a high upside guy. High risk, boom bust guy with T.Y. Hilton. You probably play Frank Gore because you probably need the help at running back. That's probably it. For the Bengals, fucking Bengals offense, man. I'm playing Andy Dalton. I really like Joe Mixon in this matchup because the Colts' run defense is awful. If they hand him the ball, that would be great. He had 7 rushes for 49 yards last week. That was all in the first half. And then they stopped running the ball. So if the Bengals hand the ball off to Joe Mixon like they should, they didn't just stop running with Joe Mixon. They just stopped running. I really like Joe Mixon in that matchup with the Colts. I would stream Andy Dalton or play Andy Dalton. It's just a good matchup. I just don't know if I trust that offensive line. I don't know if I trust the Bengals. Obviously, you play A.J. Green. I would play Tyler Kroft at tight end. I would play Joe Mixon. I would play Andy Dalton. That's who I would play. Raiders at the Bills. You got to play all your Raiders coming off of what we just saw from them. So I'm playing Crabtree. I'm playing Derek Carr, obviously. I'm playing Amari Cooper. I'm playing who's ever filling in for Marshawn Lynch if I need them in a pinch. See what I did there? And Jared Cook has been steady at tight end, so he's worth playing too. For the Bills, obviously Tyrod is a streamer. Fucking yawns, man. Obviously Tyrod's a streamer. Nick O'Leary, the tight end there, is pretty much filling in for Charles Clay as the guy who's going to get the ball. I'm not willing to take any chances on any receivers in Buffalo, and you play shady. Next on the list, we have 49ers at the Eagles. For the 49ers, I would play Pierre Garçon, Carlos Hyde, and that's it. Maybe if you are in desperate need of a tight end, Kittles, but if not, just Carlos Hyde and Pierre Garçon. For the Eagles, I'm firing them all up. LeGarrette Blount could have a fucking humongous game. Gargantuan game. All of those running backs could. If Wendell Smallwood's healthy, he could have a gargantuan game. LeGarrette Blount, he could have a gargantuan game. Carson Wentz should have a gargantuan game. They all should have gigantic, humongous, gargantuan games. Alshon Jeffrey is worth playing. What the fucking slot receiver Aguilar? I couldn't remember his name. Nelson Aguilar is worth playing. Zach Ertz is 100%. Fire him up every week. That's just, I'm playing all of my Eagles. That's just such a good matchup. Falcons Jets. I'm playing everyone I own on either offense in this game. The Falcons, the Jets are a good matchup for the Falcons offense. So you're playing Matt Ryan, you're playing Julio Jones. Sorry about my phone. Jesus Christ. Rookie mistake. You're playing Matt Ryan, you're playing Julio Jones. You could play Mohamed Sanu if necessary. I would play Austin Hooper if you need a tight end. He's available. I would play Austin Hooper if you have him. Playing both running backs, just all of the Falcons. For the Jets, I'm playing McCown. I'm playing Powell or Forte, whichever one you have. I'm playing Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He's a pretty much locked and loaded, play him every week matchup. And I'm playing, probably Curse has been the most steady receiver there. I might take a flyer on Robbie Anderson, but they have receivers worth playing for the Jets. Next, we have the Texans and the Seahawks. I don't know how I feel about this game. The Texans have looked damn good on offense, but they haven't played a defense like the Seahawks, and this is in Seattle. I'm playing. I don't know. Play the Texans at your own risk. How about that? Obviously, you play Nuke Hopkins. Do you play Deshaun Watson? I kind of have to, right? Stay in the Flames? Lamar Miller? I would play Texans at your own risk, man. Just know it's a bad matchup. You probably have to play those guys, though. For the Seahawks, I like their matchup a little bit better the opposite way, just because the Texans are a little banged up on defense. Doug Baldwin has really come on. I don't know who to trust in that Seahawks backfield. Jimmy Graham, Doug Baldwin, maybe Paul Richardson would be worth playing. That's probably it for and Russell Wilson, obviously. I don't know who to trust in that backfield, like I said, so I probably wouldn't play any running backs. That's probably it for the Seahawks. 425 game, we have the Cowboys at the Redskins. I'm firing up my Redskins, I'll tell you that. I like Kirk Cousins in this matchup. I like Jordan Reed, obviously. I'd be willing to play Terrell Pryor. You should play Chris Thompson. Play whichever one is healthy between Fat Rob Kelly and Samaje Perine, either or, whichever one is healthy. Jamison Crowder, what do you do with Jamison? You gotta cut him at this point, right? He's done nothing so far. I mean, they're on right now, so, I might be saying this as Jamison Crowder scores fucking 10, 50-yard touchdowns or something like that. But until I see something from Jamison Crowder, he's not worth playing. Probably just Terrell Pryor, Chris Thompson, either Samaje Perine or Fat Rob Kelly, and Jordan Reed and Kirk Cousins for the Redskins. For the Cowboys, Zeke is already 100% playing, so you play Zeke, you play Dak, you play Dez, and maybe you play Witten. And that's probably all you ever play for the Cowboys. The Sunday night game is the Steelers at the Lions. The Steelers, little known fact, have the number one pass defense in the NFL right now. That being said, I'm not that afraid of them if I am a Lions fantasy player owner. I would probably still play Matt Stafford. I'd feel fine playing Golden Tate. Golden Tate, is he fucking back? If Golden Tate is healthy and back, I would feel fine playing Golden Tate. If he's not, I would probably fire up Marvin Jones. Amir Abdullah, I would play. And that's probably it. Have you heard anything about Eric Ebron? Is he even playing or healthy, or who knows? For the Steelers, obviously you play Lev Bell. Obviously you play Antonio Brown. Obviously you play... I don't know if you obviously play Big Ben. Yeah, probably. I don't know if you even have any better matchups. I would play Big Ben, I guess, yeah. And, I might play Juju Smith-Schuster. I guess a little extra waiver wire wonder here if he's available. He's been kind of getting it done lately. He seems to have taken over Martavis Bryant's spot in that offense. I might be willing to play him. Lions secondary is not that great. So, Juju, obviously Antonio Brown, Lev Bell, Big Ben. That seems to be all you ever play for the Steelers, minus Juju. And the Monday night game is the Broncos at the Chiefs. The Broncos, 2-game skid. Trevor Siemian has looked awful. Probably still playing Demaryius Thomas. Probably still playing C.J. Anderson. And that's probably it. For the Chiefs, we'll play the same Chiefs we always play, I guess. I don't know how I feel about Alex Smith this week against the Broncos. I have to play him in my league. Alex Smith. Obviously, you play Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill. I mean, you're going to play the Chiefs until you see something that would tell you not to play them. They've been pretty awesome. So, Alex Smith, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Those are the 4 Chiefs you always play, and those are the 4 Chiefs I think you should still play. At least this is in Kansas City, so it's not the crazy Broncos defense you normally get. I would play those 4 Chiefs. And that's it for the games. Shortened slate of games this week because of the extra teams on bye. But that's it, guys. That's the show. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Sorry about the yawning. Sorry about the rants from my yawning. But I'm trying to see if Jordan Reed has a catch. Because I'm in a fucking... Is he hurt? Did Jordan Reed get hurt? I'm in a matchup in my main league, and if Jordan Reed gets 1 catch for 2 yards, it ties the game up. Anything more than that, and I lose the matchup. And right now, he doesn't have any catches. Knock on wood. And I'm kind of hoping he just doesn't get any catches. I don't know how possible that is for fucking Jordan Reed. Fucking highlight of the focal point of the Redskins offense. But I'm just kind of hoping by some miracle he doesn't fucking catch any balls this game. But that's it, guys. Sorry about my rant on Jordan Reed now. Thanks for tuning in. Rate, review, subscribe. Follow the B.S.N network for all of your podcasting needs. We have Aaron just put out a WECP. We got another Boxy Boys coming on tomorrow. Right? No, Wednesday. On Wednesday. We got another Boxy Boys coming. And I think we have a 4-Star Sports Bar review coming up this Sunday. And Dave Speaks this Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry. The 4-Star Sports Bar review is on Monday. The Dave Speaks is on Sunday. Obviously, we have the Boston Sports Nerds podcast this Thursday. Stay tuned. Exciting things on the network.